So the Alec Baldwin case ended in the craziest of ways. First, the prosecutor quits.
Want to hear how crazy this got? One of the lead prosecutors, not the one who took the stand, Morrissey, the one who gave the opening statement, quit today.
Then the judge dismisses the case because the prosecution was hiding evidence.
Tonight, and that breaking news, a stunning end to Alec Baldwin's involuntary manslaughter trial. The judge has dismissed that case.
That judge found prosecutors withheld critical evidence.
Hello, everyone. I'm Lana Zach. We have some breaking news out of New Mexico. A judge has dismissed Alec Baldwin's involuntary manslaughter trial after a motion from the actor's defense team.
The judge grants a motion to dismiss with prejudice in this case. And why is this happening?
Okay, so let me give you the exact reason why Alec Baldwin's case was dismissed. Okay, so now the Rust case has gone crazy. For instance, one of the prosecutors in the case actually resigned before the dismissal because she wasn't confident that the prosecutor's office was being ethical in the way it was dispensing the case.
So I've been on both sides, and I know what you're required to do. And when this came to light, I think that the best decision would have been for the state to dismiss the case. That's why I resigned.
Really?
Because I believed that that case should have been dismissed. And I advocated for that over the lunch hour.
Now, most of you guys know I am a licensed attorney, and one of my clients was actually threatened by the prosecutor in the Rust case to be dragged out to New Mexico. So we get to talk about that. And last but not least, you get to tell me if this dismissal was justice. All right, to care about Rust, you have to care about Alec Baldwin. Either you gotta love him or you hate him. Now, Alec Baldwin starred in movies like The Shadow.
What are you doing?
There it is. Magnum. Holy moly.
Yeah, baby! That's what I've been waiting for!
Dear God. It's beautiful.
Now, he's also had some really good roles, like this scene from The Departed.
I mean, Jesus fucking Christ, please tell me that those Chinaman's cars aren't empty! Did you put a camera in the back? Can I talk to you for a second, please? You stupid fucking Hey, you fucked this whole thing up! What the fuck did you do, you cocksucker? Let go of me! I'm gonna rip your fucking arm up and shove it up your fucking ass!
I also like this speech in the movie
Glengarry Glen Ross.
Alec's character is about to tell us what you need to sell real estate.
I can go out there tonight. The materials you got make myself $15,000. Tonight, in 2 hours, can you? Can you? Get mad, you son of a bitches. Get mad.
You know what it takes to sell real estate? It takes brass balls to sell real estate. Go and do likewise, gents.
Now, in 2021, Alec Baldwin started shooting a movie western named Rust.
I'm gonna go find some help.
I don't need no damn help.
You're gonna die if I don't.
He's wounded and on the run. So play again. Continue.
Arlen Rust. Need you stand up nice and slow, tossing your weapons you have.
He's on the church pew, bleeding, his hand gripping the revolver. He would defend himself against the men in the movie. Play.
One more. You good? Ready? Ready. And action. Arlen Rust. Did you get up nice and slow, tossing the weapons you have? there. Joel, you want me to wait to give you that line till he lands? Till camera lands?
Yeah.
Yep.
7 minutes, one.
Yeah.
Draw your gun and look up and point your gun, okay?
Okay, which way? Camera right or left?
This side for now.
So camera left for now.
I'll stand right here for you, Alec.
So whip it out.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let me get this all greased. Ready?
Yeah.
Okay, ready? Okay, ready? Ready.
And set. Ready, and action.
Island Rust.
Do one more just like that. You got one more? Yeah.
Ready?
They want him to do it again. There's no danger. They want him to do it again.
And set. Ready, and action.
Island Rust. Nice.
Now, the scene you just saw was shot in the morning of October 21st, 2021. The crew then break for lunch, and here's Alec Baldwin telling police what happens next.
I'm sitting there, she disarms me, we go to lunch, we come back from lunch, and they hand me the revolver, the Colt.
And I just like so mean. It's Hannah again.
They arm me, and you're assuming, as we've done every time, that it's a cold gun for the rehearsal. And I put the gag in the shot, you're the camera, because I have a coat, and I have a holster, and I pull the coat over, and I kind of cup my hands like I folded my hands. And then I'm going to slowly sneak the revolver, the Colt out, and turn and shoot these other guys, or try to shoot them. I take the coat over the thing, the camera's there. I believe, my recollection is she was there, turned a bit, like talking to him. So I think she was hit in the right armpit. But this is all I know, and that is that I take the gun out in the rehearsal. He wants it very dramatic and very slow. I'm trying to sneak up on them. I take the gun out, and as it clears, as the barrel clears the hole, turn and cock the gun in the rehearsal. I turn and cock the gun goes off. It's supposed to be a cold gun. Nothing. No flash charges, nothing.
Now, in researching this case, I found something interesting. Here's ground news, and we're looking at Judge in Alec Baldwin involuntary manslaughter trial dismisses the case. Now, when looking at headlines, you always try to figure out how the media is trying to spin a narrative about this case. And in the Alec Baldwin case, the left-wing media tells you that the charges were dismissed, but doesn't tell you why they were dismissed in the headline. Check it out. Here it is, the Boston Globe. Alec Baldwin weeps in court as judge announces involuntary manslaughter case is dismissed. Mistrial, the Boston Globe. Now, news articles on the right are a little bit more descriptive in their headlines. Breaking, judge dismisses charges against Alec Baldwin in middle of trial over concealed evidence. Baldwin breaks down in court. Now, Ground News is an amazing source that's going to help you see the narratives that are being portrayed on both sides. Now go to ground.news/Nate to get 40% off Ground News' Vantage plan. So what do you get? Well, you get the coverage details and all of these sources aggregated in one place. You get the bias distribution, how the left wing or the right wing is spinning a narrative to the story. Now you also get the blind spot report, which I think is the most valuable piece to this because you get to see what stories are not being covered by the left wing and what stories are not being covered by the right wing. Now, I highly recommend Ground News. I use it myself. Remember, go to ground.news/Nate. Use my link and you'll save 40% on Ground News. Check it out and let me know what you think. Now, Alec Baldwin was charged with involuntary manslaughter. Now, what this essentially means is that Alec Baldwin didn't intend to kill anybody. This was an accident, but it was an accident that was foreseeable and preventable. And that Alec Baldwin was able to foresee the risk and he ignored that risk by pointing the gun at someone and pulling the trigger. Now, if convicted of this felony, Alec Baldwin could have served 18 months in prison. Now, Alec Baldwin's defense was that he's just an actor, and that his role as an actor wasn't to check to see if the guns were loaded or unloaded. They had people who were specifically hired to do that, to make sure that any gun that he had in a scene was safe. Alec Baldwin also said that the set was supposed to be free of ammunition. There was not supposed to be any live ammo on the set, and that somebody violated the rules by bringing live ammunition to the set. Now, because someone brought live ammunition to the set, and because they had these professionals, the armorer and the first AD, to actually check the weapons and make sure they were safe, then Alec Baldwin was acting reasonably and not recklessly when the shot happened. So the state of New Mexico hired a special prosecutor and Alec Baldwin went on trial. Now, one of the issues that came up is where did the live bullets come from? Till today, we don't know where the live bullets that were found in the gun came from. Now, I have to introduce you to some of the players within this trial. Now, this is the safety department, and the first person I want to introduce you to is Dave Hull. He's the head of safety and the first assistant director. Now, Dave Hull's pleaded guilty to a misdemeanor gun charge. Now, along with Dave Hull, you have Seth Kinney, who is the supplier of all of the weapons and props that are used on the Rust set. Now, he supplies those props to Sarah Zachary, who is the prop master. And then you have Hannah Gutierrez-Reed, who's the armorer and also works with the prop department. Now, it makes sense because even though these are real guns, they are props for the movie. Now, the man you see on screen is very important to why Alec Baldwin's case was dismissed. This man's name is Troy Teske. Now, he is a former law enforcement officer, and he is friends with Hannah Gutierrez-Reed, the armorer on the case, her father. So he's good friends with her father. And he is now going to tell police that he has some evidence that may be relevant to the Rust case. Remember the bullet that killed Helena Hutchinson? No one knows where it came from. But Troy Teske is about to go in and tell police that he has other bullets from the same batch where that bullet came from. And then he's going to turn over those bullets to the police department.
What is your name, sir?
Troy. Well, that's a great start.
Troy what?
Troy Teske. T-E-S-K-E. I've got all kinds of identification. You should see it on my...
And where are you getting called by?
I'm a retired police officer.
By the defense.
Defense? Okay.
Yeah. But they didn't end up using it.
Okay.
Here's my police ID. And then I'm also a judge. And Seth Kinney called me from Hancock's office. She was a detective at the time. And he said, "You're on the record. I want to know what's going on with you." Because I have these rounds from, it's the same batch that came from Joe Swanson.
Okay.
You know him too?
Yeah. I know of
everybody.
I've
awesome.
dealt with this case a lot.
Okay, well, that's perfect. The other perfect person to what's your first name?
Marissa.
Marissa? Oh.
Yeah, I apologize. I'm the crime scene technician.
All right. Well, I better jot that down. And Seth said, "Yeah, this is evidence from the accidental shooting."
Now, when you say they're from the same batch of
yes.
live rounds?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, Teske turned over that box of ammunition to law enforcement, and law enforcement took that box of ammunition and put it under another case number, not the one associated with the Rust shooting, but a separate case number.
And here, a retired member of law enforcement walks into the precinct, who's known to law enforcement, who turns in the matching ammunition, who tells you it's involved in the case, where there's tons of corroboration both by what he provides and the history that law enforcement knows about this man, and you put it under a different case number, right?
Yes, as I was instructed to do so.
Now, the prosecutors didn't turn over this evidence to the defense so they can examine it to see if the bullets match the bullet from the Rust tragedy. Now, what compounds all this is that the prop master, his name is Seth Kinney. Now, he supplied all the guns, the costumes, and all the materials they used in the prop department. Now, the bullets that were turned over to police, he believed were evidence in the Rust shooting. And here he is on the stand explaining why he believed those bullets were evidence.
So let's look at the text exchange here at the bottom. Who's communicating?
My text is in green, and Troy's is on the left side in black and white.
So what does Troy say?
Excuse me. Again, glasses are horrible. Sorry about this. Yeah, thank you. Just below the picture, Troy writes, "I checked a bunch of the rounds. These are the 4 different types that I could find." And I reply, "Yep, it's evidence in the accidental death."
Now, Seth Kinney was also working with the prosecutor's office because he didn't want to be charged with involuntary manslaughter since he was the one who supplied the guns and all of the ammunition that was used on the Rust set. Now, Seth Kinney was also talking to journalists about the Rust case, and one of those journalists that he was talking to was Eric Hunley from the channel Eric Hunley. Now, as a journalist, Eric had many connections on the Rust set. And Seth Kinney also knew that. So Seth Kinney reported to the prosecutor that Eric Hunley had some very interesting information that would help her prosecute both Hannah Gutierrez Reed and Alec Baldwin. So DA Morrison then threatened Eric Hunley with a subpoena if he didn't give over his contacts to the state so they can investigate where he got his information and who he was talking to. So I was hired by Eric Hunley to represent him against the prosecutor in New Mexico. So now Eric is lawyered up and we attend a meeting with the New Mexico prosecutor's office. They then begin to threaten Eric and say, "We want your sources. You must turn over your sources." After I politely tell her we're not giving her a damn thing and we treat prosecutors like mushrooms, feed them shit and keep them in the dark, she then yelled at us and then hung up the phone. Now, before she slammed the phone down, she did reveal that it was Seth Kinney who revealed that he had been talking with Eric and that Eric may have some information from other members of the cast. So after telling the prosecutor to send us the subpoena and we'll see her in court, she never sent along the subpoena because Eric was protected. His sources were protected. He is a journalist. Now, before we get into the rest of the video, I want to tell you about this new partnership I have with D. Miller and Associates, PLLC. Now, over the years that I've had this channel, the number one question I generally get from fans is, can I help them with their legal issue? Now, because my fan base is nationwide, I needed a law firm to partner with who can help people on a nationwide basis. This is where D. Miller and Associates come in. They've handled over 52,000 cases and recovered over $500 million. As an example, when it comes to something like personal care product, where unexpected risks can emerge, especially with hair relaxers that contain harmful chemicals that have been linked to cause cancer, or for first responders who use aqueous film-forming foam. That's the foam that first responders and firefighters use to put out chemical fires. Well, that foam has been linked to cause serious health issues like cancer. Now, we specialize in handling these types of cases and are committed to securing the compensation you deserve. Now, you can give us a call at 83-DIAL-NATE, that's 83-DIAL-NATE, or visit the website link in the description and pinned comment. Now, remember, the consultation is 100% free and you won't pay unless we win your case. Now, visit the link in the description or pinned comment. Operators are standing by to assist you in the process. Okay, so let's recap. Seth Kinney provided guns, ammo, and props to the set of Rust. Now, live 45 ammo that was used on another movie project seemed to match the bullet that killed Helena Hutchinson on the Rust set. Now, Troy Teskey had ammo from the other movie set, and he delivered it to police, claiming that it may be related to the Rust tragedy. Police and prosecutors then came to the decision that that evidence wasn't relevant to the Rust tragedy and then put those bullets under a different case number, essentially burying it, and they did not turn it over to the defense. And this conduct was willful, even to the point where the head prosecutor had to admit that her crime scene technician was lying on the stand when she said that she had turned over all the bullets related to the Rust tragedy.
As I asked you about Mr. Haig yesterday when Ms. Popple testified, you would agree with me that her testimony under oath was false.
What part of her testimony was false? And I'll answer.
That she said that these rounds don't look anything like the rounds on the set when you elicited that testimony.
I agree with you, and I didn't realize that there were rounds that looked like that.
While post-trial discovery of evidence under Brady requires a reasonable probability that the result of the proceeding would have been different, discovery of evidence during trial requires an evaluation of whether the late tender has impeded the effective use of evidence in such a way that it impacts the fundamental fairness of the proceedings. Let's go through culpability. Our case law generally provides that the refusal to comply with a district court's discovery order only rises to the level of exclusion or dismissal where the state's conduct is especially culpable, such as where evidence is unilaterally withheld by the state in bad faith, or all access to the evidence is precluded by state intransience. The state is highly culpable for its failure to provide this discovery to the defendant. The state unilaterally withheld a supplemental report. Santa Fe County Sheriff's Officer made the decision, and apparently also with the prosecutor, pursuant to Hancock's testimony, that the evidence was of no evidentiary value and failed to connect the evidence to the instant case. The case agent, as well as pursuant to Hancock's testimony, Ms. Morrissey, was aware of the new evidence, and yet did not make an effort to disclose it to defense. The state's willful withholding of this information was intentional and deliberate. If this conduct does not rise to the level of bad faith, it certainly comes so near to bad faith as to show signs of scorching. The state's discovery violation has injected a needless, incurable delay into the instant jury trial. Dismissal with prejudice is warranted to ensure the integrity of the judicial system and the efficient administration of justice. Your motion to dismiss with prejudice is granted.
All right, so with those words, Alec Baldwin has nothing more to worry about. Now, next week on the Eric Hunley channel, he's going to have Seth Kinney on, and Seth is going to take questions and speak about why he believes that he didn't do anything wrong and he's totally innocent. So please go to Eric's channel and check that out if you're still interested in some Russ content. Now, if you haven't already, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, do all that great YouTube stuff. My name is Nate the Lawyer, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.